all the national retailers have taught us anything in the UK, it's never too early to start talking about Christmas, okay? Christmas gets earlier every year, and Blackpool is in February, but it's Christmas to us, and so we're already going to talk about Blackpool. I pushed for this, I petitioned for this, to get the two organisers on here to have a bit of a deep dive into what is the most extraordinarily exciting news, which is that Blackpool next year is going to have a fourth day. And so we're going to find out how that's come to be. And also, as is always the way here on the Magicians Podcast Network, we have an exclusive, don't we, Hudson, which we're going to get to a bit later.
We do. And we've already been teased the exclusive. But what's exciting is this fourth day, I'd never heard that this was a thing, right, until we mentioned it on the podcast that possibly there could be a fourth day, and maybe that could happen. I mean, we'll ask them in a second, and I think that's why they're doing it. I think they're picking up the tips from us guys. So, but we'll find out.
Next year we should talk about it being a month or something. So we are joined by the two Russes, Russ Brown and Russ Stevens, the two organisers of the Blackpool Magic Convention. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming back.
Hello.
Hello.
So Russ Stevens, can I start with you? Where did the idea of the fourth day come from? When was it first discussed, and why do it?
How that happened was on the Thursday of this year, which I'm not normally really there. Russ is kind of backstage getting stuff ready. I'm sort of running around doing other stuff. But on this particular Thursday, we did that 21-person cabinet. And so I was in there on the Thursday morning rehearsing and realised that just after, by 1 p.m, everything was set, the stage and the crew, the lighting, the video walls, everything. It was kind of ready. And so I thought, wait a minute, we could actually run something here. And then on the Monday, I rang, I think it was Mike Shepherd, and said, look, I've had this idea that I think we could do it. And I spoke to Russ. Russ then said he had the same idea. And yeah, that's kind of how it was born.
So was it initially, we could just do something in the evening? Or was it immediately like, actually, could it be an entire extra day?
No, it was always an entire extra day. We realised that most rooms were ready. I think the actual crux of this as well was that everything's gone up. And that's what people don't seem to realise. The convention hire's gone up, the tech's gone up, everything's gone up. So your choices were that we charged you more money and still kept it at 3 days, or added the extra day on as well. So that's why you've got an extra day.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people complaining about the extra money, but, let's be honest, we'd all pay a bit extra to go to Blackpool.
When you say a lot of people were complaining, go down that list, and it's the same people that complain every year about,
sure,
I'm going to complain about this, I'm going to complain about this. There's one guy who's done a full-on podcast about why he never comes to Blackpool Convention. It's like, what? Okay, don't come. You're not bothered.
Yeah, people were saying that, going, I'm not going to buy the VIP, or I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. And you go, well, look, I was there. Young was there. No, Young got somebody else to do it. But I was there buying tickets. Honestly, the when those lights went out, we've spoken about this on the podcast before. When those lights went out on that booking day, you could see how many people who are prepared to pay that money. And regardless of the extra day, this extra day is just like a bonus day, a brilliant gift that we've been given. So, yeah.
The initial thing was, I spoke to Mike Shepherd, and we'd realised that next year it had to go up. It was going to go up we estimated by around about £70. And it was still going to run as a 3-day event. And we can give everyone an extra day, and instead of charging them an extra 75 quid to keep it as the 3 days. Does that make sense?
It doesn't. Can I ask how you guys feel? We did another podcast last week about a new magic convention in Vegas run by Matt King, David Williamson and friends, where they're going to charge $2,500 to effectively to spend time with them. And then you guys obviously are sitting around paining over the possibility of putting it up 70 quid. Does that frustrate you a little bit?
You get a different experience, don't you, at that convention, like completely to Blackpool. It's a different thing, isn't it? You're basically paying for the fact that you've got access to those guys and the mentorship and everything else that comes with that. So it is different. It isn't frustrating. I think there's room for everyone. I think it's quite an interesting dynamic now, though, that the bar's been raised, hasn't it? $2,500. it's still a magic event.
Do you think Blackpool's been too cheap for too long? Do you think that's the problem, that you can't put it up too much because it's been historically so cheap?
It's been such a bargain for so long. I don't think people realise what it costs to put that event on. I don't think they've got any clue. Just the sheer cost and time it cost us just to get the aerodadge working was 2 nights of overnight cruise and thousands of pounds in extra rigging and all sorts of things. But, we just do it, don't we? We just make it work.
I remember when Derek went and we kind of took over. Russ, you were quite nervous about it. Was 150 quid. And I was quite, from the beginning, like, we've got to put the price up. And I think Russ was a bit nervous and some of the other guys were a bit nervous that we put it up. And that was the problem, was we hadn't put it up 20 quid a year, or it had been, I think it was 7 years. It was 7 years at the same price.
Our costs are going up all the time as well. That's the
first thing when we took over, the first thing that happened was I knew in my head how those shows was going to be, that they would be short, they would be an hour and 20, an hour and a half, that we would up the video screens, we would improve the lighting and all of that tech, and all of that costs money, and that was always in our head, that we were going to do things properly. Half of the thing of Blackpool Gala shows was having a bit of a laugh, wasn't it? Before we took over, I was on that committee.
And how frustrating was it, Russ?
It was a joke. It was a joke in the way that I would end up not suggesting someone, as in saying, I don't think they'd be very good. They'd get booked. If I went, we need to book this guy, they would not get booked. And I was meant to be the assistant convention organizer. There's no problem with having someone spearheading something when they know what they're doing. It wasn't being done right.
Later today, here on the network, we have a podcast going out with Sam Fitton, who you might know. He does solo. And Sam obviously spent 3 days in the dealers hall last year. And this year, you've had to tell all the dealers they're going to be in there for 4 days. How has that gone down? Has it been a mixed bag?
Chris Stickland, who pretty much runs the dealers, he says it's been pretty positive, to be honest with you. Most of the big dealers are pretty happy about it. And I think it's a very good thing, personally. Well, they'll see, won't they? Some people come with X amount to spend, but there's plenty of people with money that they will go, you know what? Yeah, 4th day, you know what? I'll go.
There's plenty who disappear off to the cash machines and get the credit cards out. But I think the dealers is a better experience this year anyway, because of how we've rejigged the schedule. It's no longer 6 deep constantly. And, the dealers and the guests have all said the same thing, that you can now watch something, you can dem things properly. So I think that's a big bonus as well. So now they've got that extra day to spend some time around there.
Sam said the big dealers were happy about it because they've got the infrastructure and they've maybe got like 4 or 5 staff sometimes. But it's the smaller dealers that it might be more difficult for them, because if there's only 1 or 2 of them, that's like an extra full day. They've got to be on the stand, and it's kind of quite hard work. Fair. I mean, we were pushing it. We wanted the dealers to be open until midnight every night, because I said, like, imagine everybody comes out the shows, they've had a few drinks, those 20 quid packet tricks. That's when you're going to get those big sales. So that's what I'd like to see.
If I was a dealer, I'd be over the moon at an extra day. At how much money you can take. If you look at the Mark Masons, who were prepared to stand there and work, and dem. That's the big difference. You have to pull them in. But if you've got the right products, then you will. It's a good thing.
I heard Mark Mason just bought another condo when he heard it was for another day. It's just...
Have you guys given any thought to do you have any kind of insight into how many people will turn up for this 4th day? Because obviously there's lots of people like us who are pros who will just take the time off. But there's a lot of people of the 5,000 who come who have day jobs and things like that. So have you got any kind of thought as to how many people probably will turn up, or any predictions for that?
We appreciate that. What I will say is that the ticket sales, we're quite a percentage up, despite the increase in the ticket. So I know that people will work, and that's why we want to make the first day amazing, like completely amazing. That because I think some people thought it was a cash pool. We were just doing it to make a bit of extra money, and it never was. It was all we still want to maintain that thing of the Blackpool Convention being what it is, and not have it as just a sort of a bit of a crappy opening day leading into the main 3 days. It's going to be a proper full-day convention day.
There was definitely a lot of people who thought it was just going to be a dealer's day. So it's interesting to hear that's not the case.
Or the auction or whatever, yeah.
I think we would have got away with it up until obviously a few days ago. We've announced no one, so I think a lot of people did buy the ticket thinking, "Oh, it's a Thursday. It'll probably be the blooming auction, and the dealers are open for 3 or 4 hours. That'll be it. Maybe a couple of little lectures," and they still paid that extra increase in price. That was the intent. Was always, as soon as I knew we want to do the Thursday, it was always the thing of, let's make it just amazing as the other days.
Yeah, it is a full-on day because I've done a couple of lectures recently. I'd teach them how to do a torn resolve paper and go, any questions, and they put their hand up and go, what's happening on the Thursday? It's like, what the hell's that got to do with torn resolve paper? But it is a full-on convention day, just like the others. We're not half doing it. In fact, we're really doing it.
So in a moment, we're going to break. We get the exclusive. You can hang on for that. We know you're excited. But actually, I just want to take a little sidestep, Russ Stevens, if that's okay. How's BGT been this year? The magic side of things. Listen, we remember the years where there'd be several magicians in the final, and it's not in that place anymore. It's the execs behind the scenes. Are they kind of going, why are we not getting that kind of level or more? Are they happy with the show overall? You're the person with all the insights.
I think they're very happy with it still. I've been there so long now. I'm intricately involved in the whole thing, not just the magic. So I know pretty much how the machine of it all works. So they're still really into them. Well, you've seen the magic's been in the audition process. It's been heavily featured. We probably had 7 sort of big featured ones. All of those 7 probably got through to the finals. So it's still a big thing on their show. And I mean, there was the year when 5 out of 10 were magicians. And I think last year we had 2 in the final last year.
So as it's going to be an extra 4th day at Blackpool, will there be extra things at Russ Brown's House of Secrets?
It will. Do you know what? The Thursday was actually always my busiest day at House of Secrets. So I'll never put a show on at House of Secrets during the convention. Craig and Ryland normally like to do the after party on the Monday for any stragglers that are still in Blackpool. But no, there'll be nothing on extra. We'll probably open up from the Wednesday instead. That's all. Actually, from the Tuesday, we'll do the podcast on Tuesday, and then But there'll be nothing any different. In fact, to be honest, I think a good percentage of the people, of our guests, used to come on the Thursday anyway. A good percentage.
But they'll come on the Wednesday now.
Well, they started coming on the Wednesday, but now they have to come on the Tuesday.
Yes.
So now
they have to come on the Wednesday.
It's okay. Right, so let's get to it. So there's been some names already announced this week, which you might have seen. Paul Gertner's going to be there on the Thursday. Banachek's going to be there on the Thursday. Jay Sankey, Richard Sanders. And then the big thing was it just going to be day stuff, or was there going to be some stuff in the evening? And there is. And so you've announced that. Go on.
Yeah, and let's be, just before you do that, let's be honest, that already in itself is a convention, right? Before the even bigger names get announced. So
we're going to get to the big headline name for the Thursday in a second. But Jack Rhodes is coming back. He's going to be in the Opera House. Tell me why you decided to, because it's not often you do it. You did do it with Tom Wright. You bring people back the following year. Why bring Jack back?
Obviously, I've got that connection with Jack because we worked together on BGT and whatever, and it was me that put him in Circle Hall, and it was the idea that we had last year of ramping up Circle Hall and making it in. I said it was mini Opera House. That was like the plan in my head. It wasn't quite that last year, but this year it will be. So I'd seen his show at the first time he did it. I was at the show in Ulverston or wherever it was up in the lakes where he did it, and I could see, it was it was a hall, local hall, but I was like, oh, that would work brilliantly with the correct tech and screens and everything he would need. It would be brilliant. And then the stuff that he was working on as well, and I just think he's brilliant. So, he
was one of our big hitters this year, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that a lot of people went to see, not sure what they were going to go see, and coming out.
And I think because of the size of the room, there was a fair few that didn't see it either. There could only be 1,800 that saw that. So I know there's a fair few that didn't, but also I contacted Jack, and I think probably it's probably half, 50% of the show will be a version of what was seen last year. The other half not. I mean, he's had to cancel a tour date to do this, so it's been quite a big effort to fit it in and do it. So yeah, I'm super happy that he can do it, because now it means everyone will see it. It'll have changed. I think, you know what Jack's like. He's so creative. Even the stuff you've seen will change.
Work ethic's incredible, isn't it? Hudson, what do you think though? It is a different venue, isn't it? The Circle Hall. We've seen acts in the past walk onto the Opera House that are very good. Graham Jolly springs to mind. I'm his biggest fan. But I remember when he walked on in the Opera House and it did not go well. It's a different venue. Do you think Jack will have a slightly different approach, Hudson? You know him quite well because of the venue changing.
It is different. If you're a comedy act, you ideally want a low ceiling. So comedians will always tell you, there's certain venues, say in Edinburgh, that they'll all go into. They're like the Stand Comedy Club because it's got a low ceiling, the audience are close to you, and all of these things. Jack's a comedy performer. Even that circle room is not easy as a comedy performer, I don't think. But Tom Wright was in there; he did really well. Don Chambers was in there; he went great, and Jack was fantastic as well. But Jack's got like a production in his show, hasn't he? There's something about not only his comedy chops, but it's also like the production that goes with it. And I think that big space, I think, will serve him. I think.
Yeah, I wanted to see him in that proper theatre with the proper big video wall. We have it in Circle Hall, but not like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think it'll be the first time, because even his tour won't be that scale. He's working bigger venues than Circle Hall, but with the tech that we've got, he won't have that kind of tech on his tour. So it will be, you're going to see it at its best, on that night is going to be, great.
I think you've only got to look at like Mac King as well to see that it can work in that big room.
Yeah.
I mean, the night before with Mac, I remember I was sat in his hotel room trying to put a guinea pig in a tin. And we were heavily discussing it do you think it'll work? Because it's such a big room and he killed it. So I think it'll be the same with Jack. It'll work. It'll be great.
All right, here we go then. We've made you wait. Let's get to it. So we've been promised an exclusive name. This is a name to go alongside Jack as a headliner on the Thursday night. I'll leave it to you two to decide who wants to.
Should we do it with like a bit of a drum roll as to why? Because I think that more exciting.
Don't you have sound effects, Hudson?
Yeah, you can have a drum roll.
Can we have fireworks go off in the background when it's
No.
It isn't so much. It isn't right. Okay. So my thing of Blackpool has always been, we change it up. It's a living thing to me that changes. Everything's not exactly the same every time, and sometimes we do stuff that you wouldn't really expect to happen. And this is a big example of what you wouldn't expect to happen. So we'd sorted Jack out for the Opera House, and then I had this crazy idea of, wouldn't it be great to put probably one of the world's most dynamic illusionists into a small venue where it's totally in your face, where if you went and saw that person live doing their tour, this particular show, which is a touring show or has been, if you went and saw him live, it would be in a big 2,500 seat theatre. We want to put it into what probably be an 800 seat room, so that even at the back, you're going to be totally on top of it with one of the biggest sort of most dynamic illusionists around. And I contacted this guy and said, I've had this idea. What do you reckon? and he loved it. He completely, as soon as I said it, he got it completely. And I said, wouldn't it be great to have a bunch of magicians watching you closer than with that atmosphere, with that whole dynamic to it? It would be amazing. And luckily he said yes. And it kind of makes no economic sense whatsoever. In a normal business, you would not be doing this. And this is what's brilliant about Blackpool.
In that small room, how many crews you bring in? Is it 16?
Yeah, it's a big amount of people. 19, I think.
16 and 19 cast and crew. So that's going to be a wonder to get it on in there anyway.
Yeah. So we can
Hudson,
say
who's
who
your guess?
it is.
Who's your
Hudson,
guess?
who's your guess, Hudson? Sounds strange. He's gone solo.
I was thinking it could be young or strange.
Here we go then. Go on then. I honestly, this is exciting.
We're doing the 3, 2, 1, Russ. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go 3, 2, 1. Hands clock.
Wow. Childhood
Brilliant.
hero in a small room. That's going to be amazing.
We're bringing his latest show called Face the Future to the convention, but that show would normally be in the Opera House, right?
It would normally headline the Sunday night. This is Thursday. What are you going to do on Sunday?
Yeah. Oh man, we've got some other stuff planned that we haven't told you yet.
Wow, this is incredible.
Hans Clock is in my top. I'd say like our top 3 favorite illusion acts in the world.
Yeah,
like one of the absolute best, and that is brilliant. And this is a reason why you need those either VIP tickets or you need to begin that queue early if you've got the other tickets, because you want to be up close for that, don't you? You want to be, if it's in that room, you want to be up close.
Yeah. That'd be like one of Magic's hottest tickets.
If you don't get in there, though, the stuff that's in the other rooms.
Hang on. This is competing against some. Right, first of all, a couple of questions. One, we can go and see Jack Rhodes and Hans Clock. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we can see them too.
And then we got the Zabrecki hour as well in the arena on the same night.
Okay. Wow. Right. Okay. So we got Zabrecki. So hang on. But I might not be able to see Zabrecki as well.
It's like normal. So we always have 3. We have Opera House, Circle Hall, and Arena. So you're going to miss
and Foyer Hall as well, Russ.
Huh?
What?
Foyer Hall.
Yeah, we have Foyer Hall as well. So we have a standalone in Foyer Hall.
Who's in that one?
That's going to be, I think it's Alexandra de Vivier, maybe.
We'd put...
Or Caroline Raven.
Wrong, Caroline Raven.
That's like the smaller room. That's like the 200-seater.
Do you know what? I knew Caroline Raven was going to be at the convention because she dropped on another podcast that she was doing a large convention next year. And I thought, nobody else is booking that far ahead. And I know that you guys are booking like sort of 12 or 16 or 18 months ahead of time and you're already planning like 2027.
I've just sent the contract out for 27 for a headline.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I knew it must be that one because you're the only ones booking that far in advance, I think. That's it. I mean, that is a phenomenal Thursday.
Incredible. It's Thursday. It's Thursday.
That's the free gift there.
Yeah.
So the Thursday headline lectures are Paul Gertner, Banachek, Sankey, and then show-wise in the evening, we've got Zabrecki in the arena, we've got Jack Rhodes in the Opera House, and then we've got Hans Clock in Circle Hall.
I'd like to see Zabrecki as well, though. Like, how
it's just brilliant, isn't it?
Any chance, now we've got you here, any chance we can move Zabrecki to the Friday?
But that's all of those Thursday nights, you've got one chance to see. That's it.
I hope you don't mind me putting myself in the frame just for a second, but I had the most extraordinary experience a couple of weeks ago. We were doing a Champions of Magic show, and in the audience was Kevin James, Michael Carbonaro, and Rob Zabrecki, all at one show. I was shitting myself, so was Strange. Zabrecki is the nicest guy. Then he said the most lovely, supportive things to us afterwards. And so, yeah, this is just incredible. It's a Thursday, Hudson. Hans Clock in the past, in the Lever days, he was the headliner on the Sunday night. This is the first night. I can't possibly even imagine where this is going.
You know what it's like, Richard? You'll appreciate this. Do you remember the Copperfield specials? For me, the Copperfield specials always had like that banging opening every single time. I don't know, sometimes not to be topped for the rest of the program. And I'm not saying that's how Hans is going to be, but I just loved the idea of everyone thinking this Thursday, was going to be a bit of a rip-off because we were going to just it was a bit of a cash-making exercise and we'd have a few dealers and the auction and a couple of small lectures. And then I just love the idea of, from the get-go, it was always in my head, this is just to be like a ridiculous day. And I think we've told you, we're not announcing them, but we told you just before we started recording, a lot of the other names that are also lecturing on Thursday who would normally headline a convention. Yeah, I would say nearly every single one of those names we gave you would headline as a convention headliner.
It is crazy. Those people are not coming on Thursday. I reckon there's going to be some U-turns after hearing this.
Well, me and Russ were doing the schedule the other day. We were like, oh my God, the names we've got this year that we still haven't released. And it reminded me of years ago, Gay Lundberg said that me and Russ organising the convention is like we're given a big box of fireworks and we're told you set these off once a year, and we just go, nah, let's just set them all off now. And he said that's what
Yeah.
it's like.
And also, just so you know, when you said about this convention just gone, you know, how are they going to top it? How are they going to top it? When we're putting that together, you know, a normal, sensible person would be going, right, hold on. We got Enzo Wayne, that's a closer for the Sunday. That would have normally been a closer for the Sunday. Rick Thomas, bugger it. We'll book Rick Thomas for 2026. We'll save money and we'll all, you know, we're going to run out, right? But we've always, in my head, I think Russell's the same, where we're like, not the firework analogy, but just want to make it like as brilliant as we can. Do you know?
Yeah. And do you know what, Russ? Actually, I would love to add something here. This is like on a slightly deeper level, but you know, when we did the podcast over last weekend, Preston Nyman had this moment on his podcast where he just summed up the weekend beautifully. And this is a bit deeper, but something that was extraordinary about the Thursday the last couple of years. The convention hadn't started, but everybody arrived early for that Thursday, and the atmosphere on the Thursday was extraordinary. It was friends coming together from all around the world. It was the beginning of this amazing celebration of magic, which you guys have captured the spirit of so perfectly. And so Hans Klopp, to me, personally as a fan, is the perfect act for that kind of atmosphere, where you just see this man who loves magic, he loves performing, having the time of his life, and the audience just goes along, especially magicians, for the ride with it.
You know what's brilliant about the convention is that, like, the people that we book, especially the headliners, we know that they're like as passionate about magic as we are. Yeah. So and that like makes for a great atmosphere, because I'm sure that comes over when, you know, they're not just trying their best. They, you know, it's a group of us that really love magic. But it's, you know, I've got old now, and you look at things a bit differently as you're getting old, and you are like, yeah, it's been my life. It's our life, isn't it? It's like,
well, let's be honest. Magic's given all of us a very nice life, hasn't it? And all of a sudden, you do get more attached to the thing that as you've spent 50 years, you know, doing or whatever. You know,
it isn't just that. It's this thing that when I was a kid, there was, you know, I saw Johnny Hart on a TV program, and that, for whatever reason, that started that off, and then just having this love for it. It's a weird, and I know that maybe people have different levels of what they think about magic, or what it can sound a bit corny, but I think people that think the same way kind of get it. You were saying about Michael Fitch on the Sunday night sitting there crying his eyes out, you know, and that's kind of, I want people to go away from the convention having had an experience. I don't want them to go, oh, that was a fun 4 days. I want them to like have something that they take away from that. Do you know what I mean? That they remember.
Yeah,
and I don't mean
absolutely.
seeing Rick Thomas. I mean the whole thing, that there was something a bit deeper than just going to a magic convention and watching a load of card tricks, which is how I used to remember Blackpool. Really, it wasn't that quite, but it was still, you know, there was
it was a different feeling, wasn't it? It was always that sort of, oh, that was a long shirt, and what, there was always sort of, it was enjoyable, but there was always like the bad side to it, where
whereas now it's just one big, brilliant, amazing thing.
It's like I say, like to me, it's like this living thing now. It sounds a bit weird, but it is, because we're not doing on Thursday what people would expect, and we are going Hans Klopp. Yeah, let's put him on the first day. Like, let's worry about that later.
Yeah, and it is like worry about that later. We just make it happen, don't we?
Yeah.
We just say that's.
While we've got you here, like Hans Klopp is, as we say, could have headlined Sunday night, but it's not headlining Sunday night, right? Somebody else is, and somebody's probably going to be headlining. I don't know what's going on Friday night and Saturday night, right? You've not told us, sir, but there are rumours of some big names coming. So how about this, right? Young, we'll say names at them, right? We'll say names, and we'll watch their faces. So let me kick things off.
Poker face.
These are big names that have been suggested.
By the way, before we do it, just noticing again that Hudson has completely forgotten that this is an audio podcast and this doesn't actually bloody work. But yeah, carry on anyway.
It does for the people on Spotify. So okay, let's do this. First names. I'm going to say Young and Strange.
That's definitely not happening.
Complete disdain. That was.
We contact them year after year. Never interested. Never want to do it.
I want to do the next one. Let's watch their reaction to this one. David Copperfield. Very good poker face. No idea.
Little smile from Russ Stevens. A little smile there.
They're watertight. We're going to get nothing out of this. All right, one more name and then leave it at that.
Chris Angel.
Could be a maybe as well. Very good.
I remember, I think it was a couple of years ago. It was a year Ho Jin closed the Sunday Gala. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I remember it was like a multi-act gala show. And I remember it's one of the best gala shows we've ever had, right? And I remember he ripped the place apart. The show ended. Russ rang me, didn't you? Like, wherever I was, running around the bloody convention centre hall or whatever, Russ was like, Ho Jin's going to have to close his music, and the bow is brilliant because got to close with Ho Jin, and that's what we did. The convention is such a thing now that, yeah, it's great to have these huge names, but we don't live or die on anyone, really.
No.
Does that make sense? Like,
no, 100%. You don't need you need a quality act. That's what you need. You need a.
We could have, like, if they were really quality, but a whole convention of people no one had ever heard of. As long as they were quality, people can go away and go, they had that experience still, because it comes down to that thing of we love magic. That's.
Oh, we'd all rather watch a great act than somebody we've just heard of. We know it's going to be great, whatever.
Yeah, but
we know it's going to be brilliant.
It isn't the pressure because we just get on with it, don't we, Russell? Mm-hmm. We'll panic afterwards. I had this idea. Let's put Hans Clock on the first day.
Yeah, we just decided to do it and then.
Yeah, hold on. A bit of a problem there, but yeah,
to make it work.
Well, this is absolutely incredible. So, if you haven't booked your tickets yet, this is not like years gone by. You cannot wait anymore. So many tickets sold on the first day. I've been keeping an eye on it, as I do for some weird reason. They continue to sell. 19th to the 22nd of February 2026, blackpoolmagicconvention.com. Do not wait anymore. Get on and get your tickets now. You can't wait till after Christmas like people used to. This is going to be absolutely incredible. 4 days. What a first day.
And just so you know, we are going to be doing like announcements probably earlier than we like now, where we're doing announcements a little bit earlier than we would do. And as Russell was saying about the schedule, we have the schedule all done, all the timings and everything for Thursday. That's done. We could print that now and put it up online, and it will be exactly that. Everyone's contracted, everyone's ready to go, but we'll wait a little while because it's slightly early. But when people go, why do we only find out a week before? Sometimes things are a little bit seat of their pants, but we're trying to get more and more organised and ahead of ourselves, which is what I think we've done now.
I don't know why people need more than a week to work out what they're doing at Blackpool. Like,
I don't get it.
Why do you need 6 months in advance to work out your schedule? Why do you need that? I understand why you do it, but I don't understand why we would need that.
Without giving too much away, all of the sales that we have had literally a handful of those sales are day tickets. And I'm genuinely a handful. 5 or 6 day tickets. Nearly every other one is a gold card or VIP. Now, like you said, maybe they're planning on just doing the 3 days. And this is why we've done what we've done, because we want you to come for 4 days. We want you to celebrate 4 days of magic, not 3. It's not a cash grab in any way at all. We just want to put on this amazing event because we love doing it.
Well, we love attending it. Thank you so much to both of you, Russ Stevens and Russ Brown, the Blackpool Magic Convention organisers. Hudson, thank you for being here. Go and book your tickets right now if you have not already. blackpoolmagicconvention.com. Don't forget, there's another podcast out today with Sam Fitton. It's a really good one. We talk about some of the controversies of being a close-up magician, those bloody wedding awards. Hudson asks him the tough questions. It's on your feed right now, so you can go and enjoy it. Thank you so much, you two. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.